grow for it. I'm Jim, and this is a business podcast designed for small business owners, managers, and other professionals. My goal is to work in the space between your ears, on your mindset, to help you to focus on the actions and activities that will move you closer towards your vision. In today's episode, we're going to discuss a couple of ways to use your financial reports, breaking down your customer segments, and I'll even give you a few tips on maximizing your profit margins. But first, let's quickly review what we covered in the last episode. In episode 3, we discussed a SWOT analysis and how it can help you in your business planning. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The objective is to identify internal strengths you can leverage to take advantage of external opportunities while minimizing the risk from external threats. We'll continue to focus on your vision and developing aspects of your business plan and daily activities to help you arrive there. So now, let's get ready to grow for it. The simple truth is, business planning can be as high level or micro-specific as you want it to be. The company's size, the organizational focus, even your specific role can benefit from a business plan. However, none of these really determine how complex your planning has to be. The fact is, if you'll invest more time up front, you'll have a better chance of achieving your goals and moving closer towards your vision. We can't get time back, so momentum, focus, and velocity are typically to your advantage, so let's prepare. Can you overdo it? Sure, it's possible. True story. I once had to give a 4-hour sales territory review as part of our annual planning and budgeting process. The overhead slides, yeah, that's how long ago it happened, were full of industry segment breakouts and penetration numbers, key clients and target clients, specific products and services, geographic overlays, pricing roll-ups, and a whole lot more. Personally, I thought it was a bit much at the time and still do today. It took literally 4 hours to grind through it all with several layers of managers. However, to be successful, it's better to put at least some effort into it. The exercise and the discipline will usually uncover valuable insights. Recently, I had an article about business planning published by the Louisville Bar Association, Kentucky Doc Magazine, and the Kentucky Psychological Association. Some of the concepts from that article are the basis for today's episode. So here we go. The best way to begin is to do a deep dive on your financials for the previous year. I'm not talking about just looking at your gross revenue numbers and your net profit. You've got to dive deeper. I recommend you break down the numbers by client segment, service, and vendors. You have to know your metrics. To get started, just like I've asked in previous episodes, I want you to take out a sheet of paper. In fact, for today, take out a few of them. Down the left side of your paper, I want you to list your various client segments. How you divide them is really up to you. Consider the type of issues they're dealing with, the type of case they are, maybe the business they're in, their geography, age or economic group, etc. Group them in whatever categories are most relevant to your business. Then across the top, make a column for total revenue, one for total cost to serve or supply. In accounting terms, a lot of times we call that your cost of goods sold. Make another column for margin percentage, and then one for margin dollars. These are basic calculations, and they're pretty straightforward. Let me caution you here. People like to get really enamored with margin percentages. Hey, I'm making 38% on this product. The reality is, you don't pay your bills with percentages. You pay them with dollars. It's always about the margin dollars. For instance, if you sell a product for $1, but you had to pay vendors 60 cents, your margin is a whopping 40%. But remember, you really only made 40 cents. What will it take in time, carrying cost, effort, and a host of other soft costs to sell a few of those units? Try as hard as you like. It's still only 40 cents. You better get busy. Another column you may need to factor into your client analysis is your effort. This can be a relative numeric ranking based on the time it takes to work with each client segment. You may find that a certain client segment simply requires too much effort to service effectively. Remember, time is finite. Are you incurring large opportunity costs to service that segment? We've all had that one client who just plain wears you out. Maybe the best thing for your business is to help that client hire a competitor. The Chinese have a saying, may your year be interesting. That's not always said in an effort to wish you well. It might be time to consider making it an interesting year for your competition. Now, as you begin to stack rank your client segments, you can quickly see which deliver the most profit to your bottom line. Simply looking at gross sales by segment can be very misleading. Top-line revenue is only part of the business formula. I won't tell you it's unimportant, but it's definitely less important than net margin and ultimately net profit. You want to fully understand who is driving your margin. The next step is to align your business activities to focus on those client segments, products, and services. What you're really looking for are your sweet spots. Which activities deliver the most margin dollars for the least amount of effort? How can you do more? Equally as important, which activities drive the least amount of margin dollars and how can you do less of them? Put down your pen for a minute. I want you to think back to when your mom was preparing to give you a bath. For some of you, it might be easier to think about the last time you were doing the same for your kiddos. Did you turn on the cold water and fill up part of the tub and then turn it off, then just turn on the hot water for a while? No, to get it right, you typically have to blend and adjust along the way. The same goes for your business planning. It's typically going to take time to realize the benefits of these adjustments. But just like anything else, the sooner you start, the sooner you finish. Time to switch gears. Let's talk about your vendors. You can do the same type of analysis for your vendors. You really want to identify a few important facts. How much are you spending with each vendor? How easy is each one to deal with? Are they responsive? Consider this. Did you leave money on the table last year? Are there discounts and rebates that you simply didn't take advantage of? Make a note to start asking each vendor about various programs, discounts, and rebates. If there's free money on the table, you need to figure out a way to get your share of it. Another fact involves contract expiration dates for services provided by especially your key vendors. Add those to your calendar. Don't forget to set a notification for at least 1 month before that expiration occurs. These are important vendors. You don't want to make the snap decision, so give yourself time to evaluate performance, price, and support levels. Now you have a roadmap for setting the proper expectations and understanding which relationships need work. Engage them. You might be extremely surprised at how eager they are to help. They may even come up with a better solution based on the improved communication and a more complete understanding of your situation. We talked about determining if you left money on the table with your vendors. If you're selling a product or service, let me encourage you to move away from discounts. Discounts give away margin for the same amount of work. The buyer always wins. More importantly, there's no guarantee they'll repeat the purchase. The better solution is to develop a rebate program. It doesn't have to be complicated. The advantage is you'll remain in control while guiding a buyer's activity toward your desired outcome. This may be a repeat purchase, the adoption of a new product line, etc. It may include product or service bundles, incremental purchases, referral bonuses, and a whole host of other incentive options. The savings is still there as long as the buyer or client achieves the rebate milestones. More importantly, if they fail to perform, you still maximized your margin on the product or services they bought. Doesn't that sound like more of a win-win? Remember, it's always about the margin dollar. Over the past 20 plus years, I've helped both develop and implement rebate programs in several industries. If you need help getting the process started, contact me via my website. Well, that about wraps it up for today. There's a lot more on this topic. I know finance guys out there are probably pulling their hair out right now. If you'd like to go deeper on the financials, we can easily arrange time to get together. As always, I want to say thank you for sharing a few minutes of your time with me. There are related blog posts and videos available on my website, jimrayconsultingservices.com. Let's connect on my business Facebook page. It's also Jim Ray Consulting Services. Finally, can I ask a favor? If you like what you heard in this episode, please consider going to iTunes and leaving a 5-star rating. That and any review comments have a big impact on helping this podcast to rank well so others can find it. For now, go take a look at your financials and start developing your plan. I'm Jim Ray, and if you're ready, let's grow for it.